Good evening, everyone. I pray you all had an amazing day on today. Okay, everybody. I thank you all for tuning in. We're about to get ready to go into Tuesday Night Live. And as we get ready to go into this, we're going to dive right straight on into God's Word on tonight for whoever you are. And I pray that if each and every one of you will just lend your imagination and also your attention and your listening ears, so that for whoever you are, let God's Word speak to you richly and in a mighty way. Okay, everybody, let's start on tonight. Tonight's title is The God of I Will. The God of I Will. All right, I'm going to begin reading. We're coming from the book of Genesis, chapter 46, and I'm going to begin reading verses 2 through 4, and then we'll go right on into the notes, what I feel the Lord will have me to share with those of you on tonight. This is Genesis chapter 46, verse 2 through 4. And God spake unto Israel, he's talking to Jacob, in the vision of the night, and said, Jacob, Jacob. And he said, Here am I. And he said, I am the God of your father. Fear not. Fear not for to go down into Egypt. For I will be there and make thee a great nation. Verse 4, I will go down with thee into Egypt, and I will also surely bring thee up again, and Joseph shall put his hand upon thy eyes. Okay, everybody, let's go right on into this word on tonight. And our main focus point on tonight is the God of I will. I know that there's somebody right now, you've been in your own personal thoughts. Many of you may have had fear to do something, to step out on faith. I know many of you right now, some people may have a fear of flying. Some people may have a fear of getting married. Some people may have a fear of doing any other type thing that could very well be God's way of leading or pushing you in the right direction that He is forecasting for you to go. And see, many of us, our fears can be in different areas, in different situations. But I need for whoever you're on tonight, and this is really going to go to those who you know that your life has been in the ship. You know that the Lord has been asking you to do something, and you've been feeling it down on the inside. I'm talking to you on tonight because I really believe deeply that the Lord is trying to move you, shift you, and get you. He has been preparing you, but He's also ready to get you in position so that He can bring provisions and also bring you into a new place, a new reality for your life. So as we look at the book of Genesis chapter 46, and as we see this, God called Jacob Israel, who the nation of people would come from or would become. And see, for whoever you are on tonight, you have to understand that, watch me, that the Lord yes, He called Jacob Israel, but for many of you right now, when did God call Jacob Israel? Did He call Israel? Did He call Jacob Israel before the nation came or after the nation came? Well, He called Jacob Israel before Israel became a great nation. And see, for many of you right now, who you really are and what your assignment, what your purpose, what your destiny is, the Lord it's already on the inside of you for you to become that. And see, but what the Lord has to do, He has to now put you in an environment. He has to put you in a place that will in turn incubate you like how He did Jacob and the children of Israel. And see, that incubation came when Jacob and his family went to Egypt. And see, Egypt was a place, in the beginning it was a place of provision, but then also Egypt was looked upon as being an incubator, so that way the children of Israel could have a safe place where they can grow, where they can mature, where they can grow and expand into numbers. And see, for many of you right now, I don't know whoever you are tonight, many of you have been feeling the pushback. You have been experiencing the heartache. You have been experiencing the hardship, that you have been going through the toil. You have been going through certain things that life was throwing at you, but it was not to deter you. It was not to cause harm to you. Yes, you felt the hurt. You felt the weight of it. You felt the pain. But I need for whoever you're on tonight to understand and know that it was all part of God's plan. Why? Because the Lord sees who you really are on the inside. See, He knows what He placed, who He is calling you. He already knows what your title, He already knows what your assignment is, because He's the one who created you. So what does the Lord have to do? He has to do you and I like he did Israel, like how he did Jacob. He had to put him in Egypt, which was going to represent a place of provision, but also it was going to be a place where they can now be stretched, where they can now grow. Because many of you, in certain places, you no longer were able to grow. Not like on the rate that the Lord needed you to grow on. So he had to in turn shift you. He had to move many of you. And let me say it to you like this. For many of you right now, you was probably wondering, well, why am I having to go through this? Why am I feeling like I'm in a shift? Why am I having to go through what I'm going through? Well, it's clearly because, watch this, the Lord, he saw that, and let's speak with Jacob. In the land of Canaan, that was a blessed place. That was a place of provision. But see, the Lord already knew that in order for me to get Israel, the great nation, to come out of Jacob, I got to in turn allow a situation to come to play so that I can in turn get Jacob up out of Canaan. And just like many of you, your life started off good, just like Jacob's life started off good when he was in the land of Canaan, when him and his sons were there. They were living a good life. Yes, they had ups and downs and obstacles in certain situations like many of us today, but they still was living a good life. But here goes the Lord now. The Lord is saying now it's time for the purpose for me to start pulling out of Jacob, Israel, my great nation that I need him to become. And see, for many of you right now, the Lord had to take you from a good place to now shift you to another place because he's trying to now in turn pull better out of you. And see, there's a better you that's on the inside of many of you that you don't even know that's there. And see, many of you, the Lord is having to stretch your mind. He's having to stretch your way of thinking. He's having to have to stretch all of you, everything about you, because he's now in turn needing your character to fit what he has already created you for. And see, for many of you right now, he had to take you from a good place. And now he's bringing you, and he's taking you to a place that's going to in turn preserve you, cultivate you. And see, in that place or in that environment or in that area, you will experience some hardship. You will experience some toil. You will experience some work, some heartache. You will experience some pain in these areas. But see, watch this. He is the God who said that I will. And see, for those of you right now, you know that God is with you. You know that you're on God's task. You know that you're on God's tab. Watch this. That means that he brought you from one place and he's now taking you to another place. Because see, you outgrown this place. And see, now he's ready to mature you into that full adult, into that title, or into that purpose, or to who he already called you to be. And see, he can't do that in Canaan like he did with Jacob. I got to pull you out of Canaan because Canaan won't pull out of you who you really are. I have to shift you to another place. I got to put you around other people who's going to turn for a season, they're going to like you. But then for a season, they're going to turn against you. And see, in the end of it, it's going to in turn that affliction is going to call growth. It's going to cause some maturity to take place in you. It's going to cause for many of you to step up. It's going to cause for many of you to finally rise into who the Lord already called you to be. And see, that's why he had to bring you from a good place, but he had to shift you to an incubation place. Because he's saying one day in the end, I'm going to bring you back. And see, not only am I going to bring you back, but the scripture says that in the end of verse 4, he said, or the top of verse 4, he said, I'm going to bring you back up. I'm going to bring you up. And see, many of you may have felt like you went from good, you feel like you may have went down for a season. And see, the Lord saying, no, I'm only building you over here. I'm only pulling out of you really what you are. And see, for many of you right now, you're going to have to see it on tonight. Find yourself in God's word and you're going to see that, look, many of you might felt like you have been down. And yes, many of you have been down. But watch this. When you went down so far to where the Lord is saying you can't go no more. So the Lord is saying, yes, you've been down there long enough. And see, now I'm ready to pull you back up again. And when I bring you back up from this one, I'm going to bring you up better than what you've ever been before. You're about to be introduced to a great, better you. You're about to step into the new version of yourself. And see, many of you, you're about to go on to do some great and mighty things. That's why the Lord allowed you. And see, many of us right now, we got to count it all joy. As the psalmist said, he said, I had to look in his affliction. He had to count it all joy. Or he was able to thank God in the midst of his affliction. Because that's when he was able to grow, mature, and learn God's statutes, learn God's ways. And see, that's for many of you right now. For those of you right now in the sound of my voice, you may have been experiencing those pushbacks in the heartache. You may have been experiencing the rejection. You may have been experiencing the being abandoned. You may have been experiencing all those hurtful, harmful, or shameful things. But watch this. In your mind, you might have felt like you was low, but you better believe when the Lord see that season for you to have been there, when you was able to grow out of that season, you outgrew that season. And because you finally was able to outgrow that season, now the Lord is about to bring you back up, and he's about to place you, your feet on solid ground, and he's about to put you in a place called better than what you could have even imagined. It's going to be better than what you could have even hoped for. It's going to be better than what you could have even prayed for it to be. The discomfort you may have felt, was it all part of God's plan to grow you into who you really are supposed to be? You have to remember, this is the God of I will. He's the God of Abraham. He's the God of Isaac. And yes, he is the God of Jacob. And see, you got to understand, when he spoke this to Jacob, he was only letting Jacob know that, look, I did it for your father, I did it for your grandfather, I'm going to turn now, I'm about to do it for you. So what does that mean for you and I today? If you know that God is your God, you got to understand, when you outgrow the season, you better believe he's going to shift you from a good place. And see, that's the thing for many of us. That's your sign. When the Lord is bringing you from a good place, and now he's making provision for you someplace else, that's your sign. And watch it. That means he's trying to continue to grow you. He's trying to get you to another place. He's trying to bring you to another realm, physically and mentally. And see, that's your sign right there to let you know, okay, Lord, you at work, you're up to something amazing in my life. And for whoever you are, please hear me. You got to understand. See, while the Lord was in turn working on you, he was still in turn like he did Jacob and the children of Israel. He was working on them, but then in turn he was also working on the land of Canaan. Because you got to understand, what did the Lord finally tell the children of Israel when they were finally released out of Egypt? He said, look, he told Moses, look, I got a land flowing with milk and honey. And see, the provisions are going to be there. So see, while the Lord is growing you and maturing you over here, he's already over there working on the place that he's about to bring you to. See, he's going to bring you back up out of Egypt. He's going to bring you back up out of that place, or out of that situation that you may have found yourself in. But see, it was not to kill you. It was only to help grow you. It was only there to help bring you to where you're supposed to be. And see, for many of you, you haven't even really tapped into your real true self. Many of you don't even know your real true identity as of yet. But you better believe the Lord have a certain situation, a certain environment that he's in mind, and he's going to place you in it. And see, that environment or that situation or that place is going to pull the real you out. And that real you, when you finally step up, when you finally step out, now the Lord is going to finally he's going to say, yes, now you're ready. That's what I was looking for all the time. I was looking for that nation, Jacob. Jacob is I'm not no longer looking for you. I'm looking for Israel now. And see, many of you got to be willing to leave that old you behind. You're going to have to be able to leave the old thing so that way you can step into what is new. And see, that's what the Lord is doing here. Many of you, I'm going to say it again, he's going to pull you from good. He's going to take you to another situation, another place. But there's going to also be provisions over there. But in the midst of the provision, don't think it's strange when you find yourself experiencing a little pushback or a little hardship or some toil over there. But see, when you start encountering those things, when you started off good, that was the first point to let you know, okay, God is up to something. And see, in the midst of that hardship or the toil, now he's working on you. And when he started working on you, all he was doing, the work started in you, then also that means the work started over there in your place that you're about to go to. And see, for whoever you're on tonight, you got to understand that the Lord is truly up to something. Many of you right now, I'm going to say it again, many people was afraid to fly. Many people was afraid to even get married. Many people was afraid to even step out, start a business, or go or move or do X, Y, Z, whatever it is. You got to understand, when the Lord is shifting, when God is involved with this one, he's letting us know tonight, like he told Jacob, Jacob, I will make thee a great nation. Jacob, I will go down to Egypt with thee. Jacob, I will surely bring you up again. Meaning, I'm going to pull you out of this good place, but I'm going to take you to another place and you're going to find provisions there. But watch it. Don't get comfortable there because I'm going to bring you up out of there. All I need you to do is allow that place to pull out of you, to grow you, to mature you. And when you finally get to that place where I've been always looking for you to become, I'm going to pull you up out of there. Because that place did what I already purposed for that place to do. I'm ready to bring many of you from where you were, and I'm ready to take you where you're going. That's why the shift is taking place. I heard one preacher say, look, the year 2024 is going to be the place of positioning. And see, for many of you right now, you're about to go into a new position. Whether it's in your finances, whether it's on your job, whether it's in your marriage, whether it's in your ministry, no matter what it is, many of you, you're about to step into a new position. And matter of fact, I'm taking a step tonight. We're about to step into a new position. And see, for many of you, it's going to be because the God of I will, he was there with you from the start. He was there with you in the middle of this thing. And he was also there with you in the end to pull you back up and bring you up again. Whoever you are on tonight, you're going to have to hold fast and you're going to have to outlast this place that he has now put you in. Now is not the time to throw in the towel. And I know right now for many of you, for those of you who are in the shift, just like Jacob, look at this. It got harder on Jacob when he had to make the move. Just like for many of you right now, in the end, as we're getting closer to this new season and to this new place that we're about to step into, watch this. It seemed like things amped up. It seemed like things got a little harder. But just like Jacob, look at when fear came. Fear showed up with Jacob when it was time for him to make a move. So all the other times, Jacob didn't have the fear until Jacob had to finally make a move. So also, why did fear show up? Fear showed up because it was another place that Jacob had to go. That's why fear showed up, because there was another place of provision that was already prepared for him. And see, for many of you right now, you're going to have to come on, step on up. Because watch this, many of you are going to have you're going to have decisions, you're going to have choices that you're going to have to make, and you're going to need godly counsel for these decisions and also these choices that you're going to have to make. And thank God for others I'm here to take. But see, it's going to be the Lord who you're going to have to really hear from to know, Lord, do I go here? Lord, do I do this? And you can't be ashamed. See, the Lord said, look, if you're not ashamed of me, I won't be ashamed of you in front of my Father. See, you're going to have to be able to go to him. And see, he's going to direct you and give you the right counsel. He's going to surround you. But see, ultimately, it's going to come from him. And see, when you have to make this choice, it's going to be the Lord who's going to give you a peace in your decision. Because see, you're not going to worry about if this person ain't with you. You ain't going to worry about because that person ain't with you.